moving forward, you wrote a song titled Destiny. And aside from it being your wife's name, it seems so perfect on so many levels when you think about your story and how you've come to be a successful artist. Walk us through the origin and thought process behind that song.
So I came to two of my buddies on a rap we had with an idea that was called, it was just a thought process of I couldn't make it up if I tried. That's the only line I had. And we got about 5 minutes into just discussing what we wanted to build around that. And one of them said, well, you know what? I typed this in, and the very first thing that pops up is none other than the word destiny. And I was like, well, that's interesting. He goes, yeah. He said, I know not a lot of people like throwing names as a title of a song. He said, but this is kind of a double whammy. It is literally a factor of life, and it just so happens to be your wife's name. He says, so I say we throw it in there, and that's what we wrote to. And our relationship and the path we've taken to get where we are in life, as well as in this career, and with the kiddos, none of it's been conventional. It's definitely not been in order, not the order that everyone believes life should go in. And it's been a crazy roller coaster of every which direction you can think of going. But I wouldn't change any of it, and I really couldn't probably make it up. If I tried to go and write a story and say this is the crazy lifestyle that I'm going to give this character, I probably wouldn't have come up with this one. But it's amazing how things work.
So one of the other songs I've loved listening to is Step by Step. Your wife speaks so highly of you as a father and what a blessing you are. But with that song, I feel like you kind of showed everyone that you're actually the one that's been blessed. You want to walk us through the story of that song?
So we had heard, I'd been introduced to the song My Boy by LB Shane by my wife, and she played me a montage of all these moments that I shared with my little boy. I mean, from the time he was 10 months old to the point that we were at whenever she first introduced me to the music. And it just hit me so hard, like being able to connect over something like that. And there was a lot of people saying, hey, you've got a little girl too. So why don't you sing about the little girl, which now there is a daughter version of My Boy. But I thought, I just really want to sing something that's for mine. Like, what's something I can sing for both of my kids that they're both going to understand how I feel about them and how I want our relationship to be as they grow up. And that's where this stemmed from, was showing that this is our relationship. This is how we have come to live our life and how I see the rest of it panning out. And I wanted to be able to say, 10 years from now, when both of them are going through what it says in the second verse, their first kiss, their first dance, driving their first car and experiencing all these firsts in life that are going to come as they get a little bit older. I want to be there for every one of them. I missed a few moments right there in the start, but I don't want to miss anymore. I don't want to be, years down the road telling them, well, hey, you know what, I wish I could be there to see it. I want to be the one that's there saying, I cannot believe I just got to watch that happen. And I've been blessed so far to watch every moment.
How do you go about writing your songs? Are you one of those people where it just comes easy, or do you have to work at it over and over again? I know you said earlier you started off with a line and then had to kind of build off that. Is it one of those things where the things come to you when you're driving, in the shower, waking up in the morning? How does the process work for you?
Man, for years it was me, a pickup truck, and a microphone on a cell phone. That was how it worked. 'Cause that was only alone time I had where it was nice and quiet. But it evolves over time. You meet new writers, and I didn't start co-writing until January of 2021. For years, I'd wrote by myself, and finally, I guess my mind just kind of got open to a lot of different ways of thinking, because you get to see how other writers use their process, and it evolves with each one. But it goes kind of both ways. Sometimes you get an idea and it hits you, and you know everything you want to say about it. It's immediately popping right to your head. You ain't got to wait on nothing. And you fly through that thing just saying, you know what? I don't want to change nothing. This is exactly what I want to write. Boom, there it is. And then other times it is such a good idea that you want to really think about everything you build around. And it takes some time to, find the right melody or find the right lyrics that really drive home your hook. And it's really about how the subject matter's hitting you, and what what is really driving your mind that day. Is it something that you're so passionate about that you can't help but let it just flow out immediately, or is it something you're so passionate about that you want to be, timed, or well, you want to be slowing down the time and really picking apart every detail.
So our local audience is going to be hearing a lot about you in the next coming days and weeks as we gear up for the show in Orange Beach with Tim McGraw. Take us to the day you got the phone call from Tim that ultimately, I guess, in some ways changed your life. How did all that come about?
Well, it came from a TikTok, believe it or not. The day that I first got introduced to what all they were doing, my wife was scrolling through TikTok and found duets that Tim McGraw had been posting on the app. And she ran up to me and said, "Hey, here, grab this headphone and sing this song." I turned around and looked, and it was Tim on there getting ready to sing something like that, which I called the barbecue stain song since I was, Lord knows how little, riding around with my mama. And I immediately knew what I wanted, what the words were. I was grooving with it, feeling good. And somehow that video just popped off and went viral. And come Labor Day, I she was down there fixing burgers, I believe, and she scrolled through social media and found out that Tim McGraw had shared our video to all his feeds. And now I'm freaking out because not only did we have a video go viral with Tim McGraw that he commented on, now he's sharing it to his social media. So to me, this was like,
Yeah.
as
Now
far
you're
as I'm
getting
concerned, this is making it. The man himself's putting me on his stuff. I'll take that any day of the week. And all of a sudden, his team started showing up to any live show I would play out in Nashville, and they were talking with me and my wife, and apparently more so to her than myself because she is my manager. And they started setting up a date and a time to kind of get a phone call together, unbeknownst to me. And next thing I know, I'm in the middle of a write one night and get a phone call, run over and try to make sure I get on it and answer as quick as possible because I've been told, hey, if you get a call from this number, make sure you pick up. Whatever you do not answer the phone. So I run over and grab it, and it's the man himself, Tim McGraw. And I was speechless. Couldn't find the words to express how, number one, grateful I was for getting the call. And then number two, when he says, "Hey, do you want to go on tour?" I could have jumped through the roof, man.
So to wrap this up, you're obviously incredibly talented. You'll be in Orange Beach, Alabama at the Wharf Amphitheater with Tim McGraw and Russell Dickerson on May 14th. And we pretty much have your wife to thank for everything. Does that pretty much sum it up?
Yeah, there you go. I think it's it in a nutshell.
um, are there any new songs or things we should be on the lookout for?
Well, we have got an entire album of really great songs that I feel like are expressive in several different ways between love and, feel good and a little bit of party. And it's a special work of art that I've had some really great writers come together on, some very creative producers that jumped on board, and one that I'm hoping everybody's loving on this tour.
And for the people who are just learning about you through my show, I mean, because I'm sure your people already know where to find you on social media, but for the people who are just learning about you through this show today, where can they go on social media to follow you guys?
Well, we're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And in fact, I got to remember Twitter. Never can remember my Twitter ID. But if you want to find us on Facebook or YouTube, just search for Brandon Davis. If you go to Instagram and TikTok, you can find us at Brandon Davis_music. And for all your Twitter needs, for the poor little Twitter we got is at Brandon Davis_BD.
Brandon, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Davis.